When talking about skin colouring, we can divide it into constitutive colouring. This is the colouring you're essentially born with. It's part of your DNA. It creates your baseline ratio of pheomelanin to eumelanin. If you're light-skinned with red hair, you will have a high ratio of pheomelanin to eumelanin. And if you have a darker skin, you will have the opposite, so a higher ratio of eumelanin to pheomelanin. These baseline ratios, for the most part, will stay the same throughout your life. Facultative skin color refers to the color your skin becomes resulting from exposure to UV light and/or other environmental factors. So, for example, if your skin becomes tanned through UV exposure, that would be referred to as facultative skin coloring. So let's take a deeper look at facultative skin coloring. I think we can all agree that tanning isn't good for the skin, and the action of UV rays is damaging. UV rays cause skin injury and inflammation, which results in impaired immune function. In fact, the Langerhans cells of the epidermis are closely linked with the melanocyte keratinocyte unit of the epidermis. UV exposure can cause a depletion in Langerhans cells for up to several days, which will have a compromising effect on skin immunity. Let's take a look at what actually happens when our skin is exposed to UV rays. Exposure to UVA causes immediate darkening in melanin pigment, which will continue for several hours. The effects of this pigment darkening will last for several days. This immediate darkening does not involve an increase in the rate of melanin production, but rather is an oxidation of the existing melanin, or in some instances there may be a rearrangement of existing melanosomes. Delayed tanning occurs several days after initial and continued exposure. This involves an increase in melanocyte function, but not an increase in the number of melanocytes. This continued exposure leads to the expression of MITF, which is referred to as melanocyte-inducing transcription factor. This initiates the increase in melanin production.